Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Commissioner, thank you. I appreciate the extent to which you've made yourself available to myself and my staff. On February 5th, 2019, nearly 2,000 migrants arrived on the other side of the border of Eagle Pass, Texas. Despite an increased presence of CBP agents, only about 20 migrants were being processed at the port of entry each day. Instead, CBP agents, along with U.S. soldiers and Texas state troopers, closed off that port of entry, leading families trying to apply for asylum in the U.S. to attempt to cross the Rio Grande River, which you just described to my colleague as a really dangerous area controlled by cartels with high cost and high risk. That dangerous journey across the river has resulted in at least one death and the endangerment of families attempting to enter the country. During the last 2 years, you and other CBP officials have said that the agency can't immediately process all of the migrants who arrive at port of entries along the U.S.-Mexico border. The growing wait times for people who have reached the border, including asylum seekers in particular, are well documented. And so CBP has been aware of this issue for a long time. I've gone down myself, as you know, crossed into Mexico around midnight one night, tried to come over, and saw with my own eyes how people are being turned around, and was told myself as an individual not to go into Mexico because it would be too dangerous for me to walk there. Yet people are either made to wait on those bridges or sent back, women and children sent back into that environment. And so my first question is what specific steps have been taken to facilitate those that are seeking asylum so they're not put into a situation that I was told as a single adult male not to go into, or pushing them into the environment that you told Senator Hawley was so dangerous and so perilous?
So thank you, Senator, and thank you for going down to the border and seeing our situation, meeting with our men and women. I think that's critical for members that are working on these challenging issues. So in my opening statement, I talked a little bit about our efforts to provide safe and lawful access to asylum seekers. 120% increase last year, record level, 38,000. This year, we're already up 90% over last year. We're on pace for well over 65,000 asylum seekers at ports of entry. We do have areas where we do have queues. Tijuana in particular, where there's a big shelter network, where a lot of migrants arrive seeking access to San Diego.
And forgive me for interrupting, my time is so limited, but that Eagle Pass crossing 20 migrants a day, you're telling me that that's the capacity, and how are you, knowing that this is a crisis, and I guess do you agree that essentially closing off the access, choking it like that to ports of entry actually incentivizes people to do those illegal crossings that also drain your resources then and are extraordinarily dangerous to children and families?
Respecting the short time, our capacity is a function of three things: actual space in the port, other missions that we have to conduct, including the counter-narcotics mission we were just talking about, and the system capacity. We need ICE to be able to come pick people up, or we can, in good conscience, bring them into the port of entry, and that capacity is limited all across the border. In Eagle Pass, the government of Mexico worked to provide shelter capacity and then offer both residency, work, and then transportation to other areas where we had additional capacity to process that very large caravan
but it seems to me that by not putting more resources at the asylum point, you're actually creating a need for more resources on the illegal crossings. And it would be respectful to the human dignity of people who are trying to follow our laws. By turning them away, they end up doing something that's dangerous to them, dangerous to their children. People have died, and then add more strain on your resources. Isn't this an issue of appropriately applying resources that can affirm human dignity, that can keep them safe, as well as keep your officers from having a more extreme need of their time and resources and American taxpayer dollars at illegal crossings?
Increasing legal access is absolutely essential. It's something the Secretary has prioritized, and we have delivered on, again, with 100% increases 2 years in a row. That'll continue to be a priority for us. We're not seeing the diversion in significant numbers, Senator.
So you're saying to me when they're pushed back into an area that I was told was extraordinarily dangerous, that they're not incentivized then to do illegal crossings? Because I heard that directly from individuals who had tried to cross our border legally by presenting themselves for asylum, that the danger was too great and it pushed them to do illegal crossings. Are you saying that's not happening?
For the vast majority of arrivals, they are entering the smuggling cycle with a transnational criminal organization from their home country. They don't have a choice in how they're going to arrive. They're brought into stash houses to RGV, or they're on the
I'm
express
talking
routes.
specifically about the people that are turned away
Right.
at points of entry like I saw with my own eyes. You're telling me that those people are not filtering into illegal crossings?
Other than the caravan that arrived in Tijuana in October, November timeframe, we see most people waiting because we don't have a long wait other than 3 ports of entry along the border.
What's not a long wait to you?
We're talking 24 to 72 hours. In most ports of entry every day, there is no limit line operation. There is no waiting at all.
Well, again,
We're
I'd
taking
like to
in
discuss that
migrants
with
every
you
day.
when I have more time, because that's not what I heard directly from individuals in terms of wait times. And again, the danger of them in those surrounding areas. These individuals, we know, face significant harm, as I was told myself. Have you explored alternative detentions, such as parole, bond, telephonic monitoring, GPS monitoring, to allow these asylum seekers to come to the United States and be processed, which we know from the limited experiments that have been done, has 90+% rates of people then coming back? Have we explored using resources to do that, which would allow you to take more people legally presenting themselves from asylum and create a system that works and affirms our values better?
So I know ICE uses all of those techniques and has explored others, and I would defer to them to characterize the efficiency and effectiveness.